In 2020, because of COVID-19, traveling is out, but there's no reason you can't meet old and make new friends at an Agile conference. The Scrum Master Toolbox podcast teamed up with Tom Henriksen to organize the 4th year of the Agile Online Summit, and you can attend for free. There will be networking events, lots of talks on important topics, and 8 amazing keynotes from Mary Poppendick to Alan Holub, Jeff Patton, who's the creator of user story mapping, Neil Killick, who's a no estimates pioneer, Jeff Watts, author of Scrum Mastery, a great book for Scrum Masters, Jeff Gotthelf, Bob Galen, and our very own Marcus Hammarberg, who's the author of the Bungsu Story, a great Agile transformation story. You can get your free tickets at bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. All lowercase, all one word. Once again, bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. All lowercase, all one word, and the link is also on the show notes. You can get your free ticket or opt for the full digital access that lets you keep all the conference videos forever. And for example, organize Agile learning sessions at work by watching those videos. You can get the full digital access at bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. But don't forget, there will be lots of live networking events, so I'll see you at the conference floor. Hello everybody, welcome to our Friday TGIF and Product Owner episode this week with Adrienne Rinaldi. Hi Adrienne, welcome back.
Hey, welcome back. It's Friday.
Absolutely, it is Friday. So today's the Product Owner episode, and as Scrum Masters, we very often need to create an empathic relationship, maybe even a positive chemistry, good chemistry with the PO. It's not always possible, so we'll explore that too, but we definitely want to explore the case, the great PO case later on. But for first, let's start with the worst possible example, something that is perhaps even painful. So share with us, Adrienne, what might have been the worst product owner anti-pattern you've seen in your career?
I definitely have some. Many years ago, I worked on a team for a news conglomerate. We built native apps that you read the news on. This PO or this product owner had been on a team and then moved from a team member to a product owner. She was absolutely used to being part of the team and wanted to take everything on herself. She really struggled with me that a product owner was not on the team doing work, but should be focusing more on feature and story writing for future sprints than doing the work with the team during the sprint. Another anti-pattern that I saw with that particular product owner, and I've seen with other product owners, is that there are placeholders for features and stories without descriptions or acceptance criteria. Teams will then bring them into their backlog or their current sprint. They have questions midway through the sprint, and then they end up missing delivering that feature or story. In the product owner, the work is in their head. They didn't necessarily know how to translate that into a workable feature or story. And I think that can be very difficult for some product owners to get what's in their head onto paper, so to say, or in a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the placeholder is something that I see so often. It's quite embarrassing. And what usually happens, at least in my experience, is that, whoever wrote that, it might have been the PO, or in some cases, it might have been even a stakeholder who uses the PO as a proxy, just writes a one-liner, and then at the end of the sprint, or even worse, at the end of the release timeline, they look at it and they say, hey, but this is not what I had in mind.
Yes, that's very true.
So one of the things that we need to do, though, as Scrum Masters working with this kind of POs, it's kind of learn how to work with them, how to help them, and of course, help the team succeed. So when you think about those anti-patterns, you mentioned the PO that wants to be, inside the team doing the work, the PO that only writes placeholders for features. What have you learned about how to collaborate with them that helps them and the team be successful?
I think that it is very important to have those refinement sessions with the team regularly. The product owners come to those refinement sessions with their stories or features. The team is able to ask questions, poke holes, size the stories with the PO so that the product owner has a better understanding of what the team needs for the team to be successful. And that again includes the definition of ready and the definition of done. Is not just a product owner or a stakeholder effort to write those features or stories, but it becomes a team effort.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sometimes we forget that actually the best product owner is when you put the product owner and the team together and they collaborate on creating those user stories and those features.
Yes, absolutely.
And also, incidentally, the reason why we have grooming meetings. So it all fits together.
It absolutely does. And that makes for a healthy backlog.
There you go. It's like this full circle. I think we did just now. All right. So next we want to look at something contrasting, something that is completely different. Perhaps the best product owner ever you've seen in your career. So share that with us, Adrienne.
Yeah, absolutely. I worked with a product owner that had stories that were written with great descriptions, great acceptance criteria. They always had their top priorities ready in the backlog with 2 sprints worth of work for future sprints, and was always available to the teams for questions, often gave strategy input to their product manager. And that same product owner was able to adapt to changes. He did not hold on to stories just because he wrote them. If the stories that once provided value didn't, he didn't hesitate to keep them in the backlog just to be worked on. He continually got feedback from the customers and implemented those changes. So he was constantly adapting to the product and feedback and was always ready for work to be worked on.
What did you learn from that PO about that aspect that is very critical, but sometimes not worked on enough, which is this ability to constantly interact and getting feedback from the customers? Because adapting is relatively easy. Of course, it's not easy, but it's relatively easy once you know how you need to adapt, right? And the feedback is critical for that.
Well, I think this person always had a zest for knowledge and learning something new. He was always willing to learn something new, pick up a new tool or a product or a new process or something like that. So it's just that willingness to, learn something new and be valuable to the team.
And I'm pretty sure that the team reacted to that in a positive way. So how did the team react to this PO?
Oh, I mean, they were just very much willing to pick up work and things like that. They felt they could pull the work in based on their capacity instead of it being pushed to them with stories that weren't fully written out, and they'd have questions. And those great stories were their success measure also.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the things that you said that I would like to highlight is that a great product owner also understands intrinsically that what they do is that they provide the raw material that the team can turn into a great product, i.e. they provide the user stories, the knowledge, the feedback they get from the customer. But it is ultimately the team that produces the product. It's not the PO telling the team to do it. It's the team pulling in the work, as you said.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, those were 2 great examples, one of an anti-pattern and one of a great product owner. Thank you for sharing that, Adrienne. Unfortunately, we're getting close to the end, but before we do go, do share with us, where can we find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Well, I have a LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn /in/Adrienne Rinaldi, or my website is Pinnacle Tech Consulting. It's PINNACLETEK consulting.com.
Absolutely. We'll put the link or both of those links on the show notes so that people can easily find you and contact you. So do get in touch with Adrienne. Adrienne, thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great time.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.